Welcome to the UK Flooring Podcast. On today's episode, I've got Sam Wilson from Art of Flooring. So welcome to the podcast, Sam. I am very excited to have you on today because I've not done one for a while. So it's nice just to have a coffee whilst having a chat with you. So thank you. So let's start off with the same question we ask all the time. Who is Sam Wilson?
Sam Wilson. I am the general manager for Art of Flooring, a Cambridge-based supplier of wood floors, carpets, and LVT.
Fabulous. And where did Art of Flooring come from? Give me some history on Art of Flooring.
So Art of Flooring was the idea of Pierre and Laurence, who are the owners of our sister company, Art of Clean. Now Art of Clean have been cleaning and restoring floor coverings and wood floors and upholstery in Cambridge for over 15 years now. And it came to them as an idea that they can't always look after someone's carpet. It might be too worn out. The wood floor itself might be ready for renew rather than repair. So they came with the idea that they would actually look into supplying and installing the floors and carpets as well as a separate business. That's when they approached me. So Pierre and Laurence, to try and cut the long story very short, but they were my customers at a previous job where I was sort of had a customer base of my own as a hardware retailer. They approached me about joining them and setting up a new business. I thought it was a great opportunity to start my own sort of business with someone else's money. That's where we started really. So we set up a shop on Milton Road in Cambridge, and there we have it.
And how long have you been in the role now?
So myself, I started the actual business about just over 5.5 years ago.
Wow.
But our showroom opened in October 2017. So yeah, we're just sort of 5 years old really as a showroom.
Okay. And what got you into the flooring business?
Well, yeah, it was a bit of a move, should we say, because I was working for a hardware retailer before, so nothing to do with flooring. It was Pierre and Laurence's idea just to join it, and I was just like, well, hang on a second, I don't know anything about flooring. And they said, to be honest, that's a good thing. We can teach you everything we need to know, and obviously we can send you on all the courses to learn from the beginning, but learn from the experts. So yeah.
And what did that journey look like, Sam, for training up as somebody that is a complete newbie in the flooring industry? How did you find that, and what was that process, and how did that look?
Yeah, so it was a a good journey, as you said, but in the first couple of months of being in the new role, I went on several training courses at Floor Skills. So obviously one of the leading training centres for flooring in the UK. Did all the subfloor preparation courses for them, and also went on some carpet cleaning courses, so to understand obviously what the guys do as well, and understand what the end product looks like as well. It was quite intense in the first few weeks and months, but one of the other good things I'd done was volunteered for something that's called Workcamp Parquet, which is a volunteer camp for people interested in learning about wooden floors. Now at the time it was being sponsored by Palman, who are one of the suppliers manufacturers that we use a great deal of their products in both parts of the business, Art of Clean and Art of Flooring, where we do wood floor restoration as well as finishing of new floors. So I went away to Germany and volunteered for the Workcamp Parquet with them. So we spent a whole week restoring a floor, installing a new floor, in a castle that burnt down. So that was a really sort of interesting and intense way to start the flooring business.
Is that scheme still available now? Do you know?
Yeah, they are. They are still doing Workcamp Parquet, and I believe actually there is a Workcamp Parquet in the UK actually. in the next coming couple of years. So will be something to look forward to.
Wow, because I think that's been probably one of the biggest things that we've had a problem with, is getting new blood into the system. But also in recent years, people really struggling for labour as well, and being able to take on apprenticeship or doing some on-site based learning has always been an issue. So hearing that you went through a similar process and that it might be coming to the UK is a really good thing. How did you find that experience? You know, talk me through that training experience that they physically gave you.
It was just hands-on experience with experts in the industry, and obviously being from everyone from different countries. I think there was about 40 to 50 people from all over Europe. It wasn't just sort of British people. So teamed up with some great guys actually that I remember still from Holland, and just learning what they do on a daily basis, because they had a mix of sort of people like me that are fresh into the industry, and then a majority of sort of more experienced people that actually just dedicated their time to this project to make sure it was done well. Wow. And so yeah, it's learning from people that do it daily really was the best way. On this Workcamp Parquet. I think other than that, learning from obviously floor skills was fantastic, because you see people at the top end of the industry again telling you how things have been done badly in the past and to learn from their mistakes. So I wouldn't recommend that anyone doesn't come into the industry without any training and doesn't just learn from one person. So here obviously at our flooring as well, we've got more than one more team member that is in charge of sort of looking after the customers. So we've focused our time on training them as well, even though they're not laying the floors. They have to know what we do on a daily basis. So Sally and Phil in the showroom, they've also been on the same training courses.
Great. And so how many members of the team have you got at the moment, and how is that structured?
So we've got myself and Phil that do most of the surveys, as well as sort of the quotes. So we're on the road quite a lot of the time, and then when we're not, we're planning the jobs that we've booked in. We've got Sally in the showroom, who's our newest team member. So she's come in to take a lot of the strain off of myself and Phil. We're answering the emails and the phone calls, but also she does a fantastic job of speaking to the customers on their first time in the showroom. We then have Michael, who's in our warehouse, so he makes sure that everything comes in is checked. And then we've got Warren, our apprentice installer, who's doing an apprenticeship with Floor Skills at the moment, and he's learning everything from carpet install to LVT and even doing a bit of wood, where the apprenticeship doesn't cover the wood flooring, but he's seeing a lot of wood floors being installed, so he's getting a bit more experience. We use a lot of subcontractors for our installs. Obviously, being quite a new business, it's hard to take on the experienced floor fitters at such a cost. But that is one thing that we would love to do in the future. Okay,
so have your internal teams rather than subcontracted would be a way forward for you guys.
I think so, yeah. Learning from what I've heard from other people.
Yeah. And in the last 5 years then, what have been the biggest challenges the business has faced, apart from the obvious that you've done it right over the middle of COVID? And now we're nearly 3 years past that, which is mental.
Yes. Biggest challenges. I mean, getting started, obviously, as a new business with people in the area, it has been quite a challenge to get off the ground, but we've been obviously helped out from our existing customer base with Art of Clean. So that probably hasn't been as much of a struggle as what other companies would have gone through. I'd say COVID was tough, being closed for such amount of time, but when we come back from that, it was so busy, it was hard to imagine what it was like when we were closed. I think one of the biggest challenges for someone like us that's been that not only is doing wood flooring, but is doing carpets and LVT, is actually finding the accounts. Because being a new company in the centre of Cambridge, when you have existing competition around the area, not every supplier wants to deal with you because they want to keep loyal to their other customers, which is fair enough. I appreciate that. But obviously we stood our ground. We learned as we went on and make sure we were doing the right thing. And now we're getting approached by companies that were turning us down. So that's quite good.
Yeah. And do you have a particular niche that you really focus on, or are you just all floor coverings?
When we first started, our big focus was on wood flooring, and that was the niche market that we targeted. We saw that everyone else in the area was basically doing the same thing. Click wood floors, making it easy. No one was really doing like the traditional parquet floors and all of that type of thing. So we really focused on doing a more traditional type of wooden floor and making a song and dance of it, should we say. we can do these things, but everyone else is just doing the basics. And that was our niche at the beginning. But now we've opened up to more carpets and definitely LVTs in the last few years. Although we have done them from the beginning, we're definitely more focused on them now and doing everything really well.
And if you could choose only one floor covering out of those three, which is your favorite and why?
Yeah, definitely would.
Definitely would.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yeah, wood is my favorite. Why? I just think the whole feel and look of it is just so much more interesting than the others. Carpets just get tired looking very quickly. Well, depends on which one you have, obviously, but I still feel that a wood floor looks good no matter what the damage. It's got character of its own.
Mm-hmm. I went to see a client last week who had a carpet installed in 1990.
Right.
And it was a very expensive carpet and it looked brand new. So 1990. And she said they just don't make them like this anymore.
Yeah.
And because of that, she was like, okay, now I need a new lifetime product, and that lifetime product has to be wood. I mean, this lady is in her 70s.
Yeah.
So, she's all in for, making a home lovely, but also making sure that she's buying the best for what she can afford. And she just said, and I think that's the same with most things, isn't it? That you always hear people say they don't make them like they used to.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree with wood flooring is built to last for a long, long time. Yeah, there are some great carpets out there and still some very good quality carpets can last a long time. But even if you just get a little spill or something that's damaged the carpet, you'll always see that. And same is true with a wood floor. But I think the character of a wooden floor is so different, you can kind of hide it a bit more. And it'll still look good, even if it has a little stain or something on it.
Yeah, exactly. So here's a question for you. What advice would you give to someone pursuing a career path similar to yours? If you could do it all over again, what would be that one thing you would advise somebody else?
Yeah. Never think that you know it all. So yeah, always continue learning. Even if you've done a subfloor preparation course at the beginning, things change all the time. So just continue to do it year in, year out. We've just come back from another oozing subfloor training course. So always learn from the best in the industry as well. So don't just go for the cheapest brands and things like that. Make sure you pick like someone that's at the top of their game. So yeah, just continue learning.
And how would you do that? So how would you advise somebody to choose their suppliers and put them through that testing phase of, okay, these are a really good supplier because of X, Y, and Z? How have you done that?
So we had a good relationship with Powman from the beginning with our sister company, Art of Clean. And I say we have focused on those brands. So Powman, Uzin, Wolf, the sort of family of companies there. And really just comes down to practicing, or playing around with the other products that are available, and making your own decision on what you think is the best. When we were looking for a wood floor supplier, obviously right at the beginning, there's hundreds of them out there. I had a room full of samples that I requested from pretty much everyone that I found on the internet right at the beginning, and it was only through sort of seeing the product and looking at it and studying it, really was I'm able to make a decision on which one I felt was best. And obviously I didn't just make up mind by what I thought was best without having the education. I asked assistance from other people in the industry as well. So not just going for the cheapest product. If it costs more, it costs more. There's probably a reason why it does cost more as well. So we're not afraid of spending the money to make sure we get a good product.
And client experience and relationship building with those suppliers is obviously critical in that process as well, isn't it? And choosing suppliers based on what your own ethos is in your own business and how you would expect to be treated, and externally and internally, also helps with that. I see it every day where there's contractors will choose the cheapest product because it's the cheapest product to pass on to their end user. And that's not necessarily the best way to go. There is a saying that quality isn't quantified by price tag alone. And I'm a massive believer of that. So if it does cost more and it leads to less mistakes, less cock-ups, less issues down the line, and if there is an issue, that they deal with it and, take ownership of that is really critical as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Has there ever been an experience that you've had, you don't need to name any names, okay, that made you think, shit, we shouldn't have used that product?
Luckily, I haven't had too many bad experiences. But like I said, sometimes where you think you're trying to find a solution for something that's maybe just happened on the day. It wasn't quite what you expected when you first turned up, and then you're looking for a quick solution because your fitters are on the job. We need to get it done. We can't just walk off and leave the customer for weeks on end without doing a job. So we need to find a solution there and then. And you called up and asking for assistance from the company, whoever it may be, and then they say they have a product that kind of does everything. So you kind of take their advice, yes, and then only later you discover that obviously there are reasons why these other products don't say they do everything. And we then learn from those mistakes and move on. I say you shouldn't just go for the cheapest product. There's reasons why these products are priced the way they are. There's so much research and development that goes into them. They have a cost for a reason, and we're not afraid to spend money on the good products, because our customers, knowing that we'll do a good job, will pay that money. And there's always going to be someone cheaper, so why would you make yourself cheaper just by picking the cheaper product? You should go for the best there is and keep going.
Exactly. And what do you think is the biggest challenge within the flooring industry right now?
I think we touched on it earlier. I think it is new blood coming into the industry. Say our apprentice that is on the apprenticeship at the moment, he is slightly older than a normal apprentice, should we say. But even the news I have coming back from him is that maybe a quarter of the people that started the apprenticeship are still on it.
Wow.
So you might be able to get them in at the beginning, but they don't always stay there as well.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that there's such a high turnaround and dropout rate of new people into the industry?
Oh, I wish I knew, but it might be the same case for every industry. Maybe it's maybe they're too young at the moment to take on to the apprenticeships, and maybe you need to give them a few more years to mature and see what they actually really want to do in life. But I have to say I haven't seen many young fitters out there.
Yeah. It's a strange one, isn't it? And I think I've touched on this in a few other podcasts that I've done as well, that the young blood, how do we get them excited about coming in here? What, where's that carrot that we can dangle to go, come and join us over here?
Yeah.
And because we seem to be an aging population, and we don't seem to be getting any younger. So maybe that's something that we need to try and work on in 2023 with whoever the appropriate partners are, to try and get some more people in. Here's a question as well. How have you built and grown your team? And what stages did you do that? So I think when you came on one of our courses, we talked about looking at growing a team and how to do that sustainably and getting rid of things like, if you remember, the £10 task.
Yeah.
Did you start recruiting on that basis, thinking, right, okay, what do I need to now delegate out to? How am I going to do that? So what did your recruitment strategy look like within your team?
Still early days, but yeah, obviously since I have been on the course, it has helped look at those areas. But right from the beginning, we had someone join myself to, I can't do it all myself, especially the amount of business that you can bring in. So we had myself and one other who basically done the same roles. We both looked for suppliers. We both done surveys. We both done sales. We both organised the installations and then completion and everything. So it was all just done by two people. We then later down the line brought in obviously my colleague Phil, and we then had slightly different focuses. However, we were again still mainly sharing tasks. It wasn't long after that we realized actually we do need to start to separate the tasks that we're doing and making sure people have their own responsibilities. And that's when we brought in Sally, but before that we actually used a virtual assistant to try and take away some of those £10 tasks. So a little bit like our social media, all those little marketing things that take up a lot of time for yourself to do. You can spend a little bit of time outsourcing those little bits, and then really the eye opener was when I did come to the course and realized actually we need someone to deal with the admin and the phone calls, the things that get in the way of the bigger tasks. So I don't want to be, when I'm working on a quote for tens of thousands of pounds, whatever it may be, I don't want to have a phone call from someone just seeing that they can come and make an appointment. Future business is definitely needed, but obviously the focus on the big challenge, task in hand is also required. So you need someone to think about those smaller things and keep your focus. So bringing Sally in was good, and obviously going forward we would be looking at giving ourselves individual focus. So actually in the new year, Phil's changing roles, so rather than doing sales and surveys what he's currently doing, he's going to be switching more to the operations side of the business and actually making sure that the jobs that we do get are installed to the best of our ability, rather than a second part of the job.
And what's your least favorite thing to do in the business? Because has anybody ever asked you, what's the least favorite thing that you don't like doing?
That's a tough one. I have to say I do like every single part of the job. At the beginning I built it all from scratch, so there's not one thing I don't like doing. If I was to be really pushed on the question, it would probably be accounts. Although I do like my numbers and my spreadsheets. Looking at the accounts isn't as that exciting.
No, it isn't. And what are the plans you've got as a team for 2023?
So we had a good day the other day, goal setting for the future. And yeah, 2023 is quite exciting for the team. We're planning to go to Panagé, which is one of our wood floor suppliers. Planning to go there for a factory tour, so that would be interesting. That's in France. And yeah, really, the biggest thing is to look for a new showroom. So, oh, actually, maybe I shouldn't say that, but depends who's listening. But yes, yeah, we would like to look for a slightly bigger showroom.
I was going to say, so is that a bigger one to what you've got, or is that a second one?
Bigger.
A bigger one. Okay.
Yeah.
So a little bit of expansion is on the cards.
Yes. It's
That
definitely,
sounds exciting.
yeah, something to look at in the new year.
What motivates you in the morning to get up and go to work and always be smiling? Because every time I see you, Sam, you've always got the biggest smile on your face and you look like the most happiest, most positive person. What motivates you?
I don't know. I challenged myself on that a few weeks ago, actually. Still haven't really put my finger on it. I enjoy doing what I'm doing. I feel like building a business is something to be proud of. And to see it grow is really enjoyable for me. So yeah, that is great. And obviously, yeah, my wife and my dog and all those things that you get out of bed for is what I do every day.
The motivation behind it.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, so we're going to go into a bit of a quick fire round now, just so that the listeners can hear about you a little bit more. So I'm going to change it up a little bit because we're not going to do all of the usual ones. But
oh no,
if you could start a new business tomorrow, what would it be and why?
Okay, that's a good one. I think anything that puts the customers first. Yeah, so it's a customer experience is the biggest thing I've put behind this business. So if I was to do it again, it would be something along the same lines, making sure that the customers and obviously the team that we work with are happy. So in what industry, I don't know. I've got quite a technical mind, I'd say. So I do quite like computer related stuff. So maybe something like that.
Okay. Next one then. So what is one thing that most people don't know about you?
Oh. That's a challenge. One thing people don't know about me.
Any hidden talents, Sam?
Probably not. No. Depends who you're speaking to. Hopefully you can edit this as well because
I can edit this. I can edit this. I can edit. I'll let you think about that. I'll let you think about it and we'll come back to it. If you won £10 million tonight, what would you spend it on?
I think a couple of properties. One definitely for investment, maybe more than one for investment, and a nice one for it to live. That would be the biggest start. A couple of cars probably, and a nice holiday.
Very good. What would be your two cars of choice?
Oh, not a massive car guy. I just like them, but I would probably have something fairly old. If I was to go sort of sporty, I couldn't name one, but it's like a nice classic sports car.
Yeah.
And then a more modern sports car as well, probably.
Very good. And if you could eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, yeah, definitely burgers and steak. Yeah.
What, together?
Yeah, steak burgers.
A steak burger. That sounds amazing.
No, probably steak and chips.
Yeah, it sounds like. Just following up on that though, just out of interest, Five Guys or Domino's?
It's got to be Five Guys, yeah, over Domino's. I think I can't remember who said it the other day, but yeah, Domino's definitely does something to you. It's too much salt in it. I think I drink water all night and it's not enough to get back whatever they do to you. But yeah, Five Guys has got to be one of the best but greasiest burgers you'll ever have.
Next one is Coke or Pepsi?
Coke, yeah.
Yeah. Full fat or diet?
Probably diet, yeah.
From a can or from a bottle?
Bottle actually, yeah.
Bottle or draft?
Bottle again.
It's funny when I ask people that, they're like, there's no difference. There definitely is a difference
Yeah, there
between
is,
a
yeah.
bottle of Coke and a can of Coke. And I much prefer a nice cold can of Coke than I do
Okay,
a bottle of Coke.
yeah.
It's really
I
strange.
don't know, maybe too many bubbles in the cans. I don't know. Yeah.
That could be one reason.
Yeah.
Could be one reason. Last thing. What are your thoughts on wood floors in kitchens?
Can be done. It depends on the owner. So if you are able to, well, if you'd like to take care of it, then there's no reasons why you shouldn't have it in the kitchen. It's
Yeah.
if you put it in the kitchen and don't think about what you're doing, then that's when you're going to get problems. So
Correct.
yeah, happy to do wood floors in kitchens, and in fact, one of the first, should we say, notable jobs that we got was a wood floor in a kitchen, and it still looks great today. So
Well,
yeah,
so it all just depends. Depends on the environment, depends on the owner.
yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
I think it's weird because I said, how do I know it's still like that today? It's not a friend. It's it was it's the customers sold the house, and they didn't sell it because they got a wood floor in the kitchen, but they
Right.
sold the house, and the new owners of that house came to us for another job, and it's just funny how you walk into it. I've been here before,
Yeah.
and now we've actually extended that wood floor from the kitchen into the rest of the home. So yeah, it's gone well.
Good. And finally, how do our listeners get in touch with you and your team if they need to? And what platforms are you on?
We're pretty much everywhere. All the social media platforms. I'm on LinkedIn as well, but yeah, obviously our website, artofflooring.co.uk, is the best place to go first.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sam. And thank you for joining us today. It's been great to see you.
Yeah,
Even though we weren't actually expecting to have a podcast with me today, but I
been a
love
pleasure.
seeing you. I love seeing your smiley face. It cheers me up. So
Thank you.
thank you so much. And yeah, take care for now.
No, thanks for your time. Thanks for having
No
me.
problem.